And you have something really amazing in this update for the sort of Redstone engineers out there.
Yes.
I believe we've got some news to unpack. The 3rd of October 2020 is the day we've got this yearly edition of Minecraft Live, a yearly event where devs talk about Minecraft and updates coming to it, as well as very many different things like costume contests and many more. Now, to nobody's surprise, Caves and Cliffs update is the update we will be getting next. However, what nobody really expected is a new Redstone edition, so let's take a look at it.
So we've actually been thinking about this redstone block that lives in the deep dark, a new biome at the deepest depths of the world. It's basically this growth, and this is called the Sculk blocks. And one of the blocks is called the Sculk sensor. This is the new redstone block.
So it would seem that the new redstone block we are getting is like nothing we've ever seen before. Adding to the confusion of, is redstone more of a magic thing or is it more of an electricity thing? Well, the Sculk seems to be almost a living organism of sorts. Unlike redstone, it's totally red, it's more of a bluish black color. Now, but actually, what are the uses that it has?
As you can see, when you place or destroy a block, or if you have footsteps, it'll actually detect the vibrations around and then emit a redstone signal.
So what I'm hearing is, it will detect when you place a block, when you remove a block, and also other updates like, for instance, farming a block, maybe crops growing, and potentials like throwing snowballs and such stuff. But, well, my only question is, do we not already have a block like that? Does this update mean that the observer block will become obsolete? But before we decide on that, let us hear more of what they have to say.
We even have a mechanic around it where you can actually use wool with wool occlusion to essentially prevent signals from being able to get into the Sculk sensor. So let's take a look at that now. And as you can see here, I walked next to the Sculk sensor, and it's actually kind of doing an infinite loop where the piston is causing a vibration, and then it's activating the Sculk sensor and going over and over again. But here, I've actually put a wool block in between the piston, which prevents the signal from going to the Sculk sensor. This can allow you to even do sort of directional Sculk sensors where you can put wool blocks on each side and only allow it to detect vibrations in front of it. And vibrations can be so many different things. You know, it can be a snowball hit, it could be an arrow, it could be footsteps, it could be blocks, anything.
So it would seem that the new Sculk sensor would not only be able to detect things like placing blocks, removing them, and block updates, but also things like footsteps, and as already said, projectiles. So it is a controversial topic, because we do all know that observers can only detect what's directly in front of them, while these Sculk sensors seem to have a much wider range of detection. We don't currently know how high it is, but it's definitely much higher than just a single block. Now, that is both a positive for certain things, but also a negative. It would be amazing for things like farms, as if you want to see how much bamboo has grown, and you put an observer like kind of right here, it's never going to be triggered, but if you put a Sculk sensor somewhere up here, well, it will always be triggered, because there will always be a single piece of bamboo that grows to be high enough. Technically, there is a very small off chance that they will all stay at this level, but I mean, it's more likely they will win $1 million on a lottery than that this happens. But since that seems to only be a positive thing for now, let me show you a thing where observers will still remain the thing to use. And there's complex redstone creations like this vault door, where those observers, well, they cannot be triggered by random footsteps or anything. They need to be triggered when they are precisely told to do so. Same goes for like my self-building vault door and all the other complex redstone contraptions. But if you're just a normal Minecraft user and you're not really into that redstone side of things, it would seem that you will not see the observer as often as you would up until now. And the thing that doesn't seem to make things better for the observer block is that you can even like block the detection using wool. For instance, if that were my Sculk sensor, it would detect me doing this. However, if I put some wool in between, apparently this will no longer work. So you will still be able to have our Sculk sensors only detect something that is directly in front of them or like a few blocks in front of it. What if we could make like a tube like this? Will then only detect things that are like almost directly in front of it? Or will it be a cone when this is removed? Or will it still be a cone when it's like that, as in does the vibration kind of have its own pathfinding? All of those questions are very interesting and very crucial for our understanding of how the Sculk sensor is going to affect our gameplay.
And another thing, we had a bit of a happy accident with this, because we realized that we get wireless redstone thanks to the Sculk sensor.
Yes.
So, and we didn't even plan to add it, but then when we started playtesting, we're like, wait, we got wireless redstone, and that's so exciting.
Oh, Agnes, you do not know how exciting that is. Like, seriously. Wireless redstone. Okay, now this is once again going to be something that's like, well, on the one side, it's amazing we're getting something like that, but on the other side, does it still fit in Minecraft, or is it like too modded? But just imagine that. Things like, for instance, those elevators, like those here, for instance. It takes a lot of time for instance, let me say I want to go to floor 1. It takes a lot of time for this to send its signal to the very bottom and for the entire elevator to kind of realize that. Now, what if we could use this wireless functionality in such elevators, for example? We could kind of code the floor number into binary, then send it over this redstone line, decode it, and then let the machine figure out what to turn on, what to turn off. Amazing things. It's, you know, the ideas just keep coming. And especially also other things like, I want to know when my farm finishes doing something, anything. But I don't want weird wires underneath the ground. Well, wireless redstone. Wireless redstone seems to be the answer to like a lot of problems. But then again, we come back to the question of how does the detection actually work? Is it some sort of pathfinding? Or is it an area where things have to happen for the detector to detect it? Or is it so that if I have a detector here and I have a detector there, something grows over here, does it go to both of the detectors? Or is it only one of them? Because in that case, if that would be the case, that only one detector kind of steals the data that we want to grab, well, then we would have a lot of interference if we get a lot of wireless redstone seekers around. So I guess we'd have to enclose our farms, our redstone machines, our elevators in giant boxes of wool if they are too close to each other, so that they do not interfere with one another and they don't affect the other machine with signals which aren't wished for or asked for.
So this is going to be very interesting for Redstone players.
If you know me any well, and I mean any well, you will know that me and caves, well, we do not work together. Not at all. I hate those things. I don't want to go near them. But seeing those new changes, those new blocks, which will probably not be as common as in normal redstone, well, it would seem that I'll be kind of forced to go down there to get those new exciting elements, blocks, powders, whatever can you call them. But that isn't even where things stop. Thunderstorms. Did you ever expect to get anything redstone-related out of them? Well, neither did I, but what Igrik, one of my moderators on my Discord server, plugging my Discord server right here, top right corner, also the description of this video, he suggested that a new addition that Ignis has also introduced to us may have some sort of redstone use as well. So one of the uses suggested during Minecraft Live was protecting houses made out of, burnable materials like wool or tinder, or for example protecting forests from catching wildfires. Not only that, but we also suspect, mostly Igrik, but we suspect that it might have the potential of emitting a redstone signal when a lightning strikes it. And if not that, then potentially you will, oh look at that, a widget, then potentially you might be able to detect it using an observer block looking at that lightning rod. And if not, well, what about Sculk sensors? Isn't that exactly the use case that it's meant for? What would we even use those things for is also the question. Definitely, nope, start thunder again please, thank you. Definitely detecting, for example, when you can go to sleep, that would be one very primitive example, but hey, farming charge creepers, skeleton horses. You can now direct lightnings towards a certain location. And that way, you can basically just create farms for those mobs which require a lightning to strike them. Not only that, but you will also be notified when that happens, in the case that we can detect it using an observer block, a Sculk sensor, or just a redstone wire placed next to it.
And, well, you can just build so many cool things with that. It's going to be exciting to see what the community will build.
Yeah, you're really looking for community feedback to make sure this feels great for everyone.
Absolutely. I think because this is such a unique mechanic, we really want to make sure that we get it right. And, we love the redstone community and we want to make sure that we do it right. So any feedback you have, any ideas, send it to us and we will work with you to make this the best block that it can be.
Now, let me be honest with you for a second. Interesting, this block definitely will be, and excited, we all definitely are. It's now the moment of waiting until it comes out. 2021 is a supposed date for this update. We don't have any closer date than that. It may be the first quarter of 2021, that's probably when it's going to be released. But it could also be the second quarter, we do not know it yet. However, I do think we are all looking forward to this new Redstone edition, and we're definitely all looking forward to what the community can come up with this new block. And I myself will definitely want to try and utilize this new block in various different Redstone machines, just to see what possibilities they may have and what revolutionary things we'll be able to create with them. With all of that said, however, I do think it's time to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do click the like button and do make sure you subscribe if you want to see more content of mine. I'm definitely going to be working a lot with those new blocks once they come out, so if you're interested in redstone builds and all of that stuff, I guess, do click subscribe button, also click the notification bell if you also want to be notified of my future uploads. But with all of that said already, thank you a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next one.